Good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Hot Now here at MarketStream.live. This is where we're going to cover the opening bell. It just rang, and we're going to cover what's gapping up, what's gapping down, and some other components of the market that are on the move that you need to pay attention to. Taking a look at the markets right now, they're coming off of their worst levels in the pre-open. We had the market firmly in the red, but we still have the small caps Russell 2000 down 2.5. We have the NASDAQ down 21. We have the S&Ps down 8, and we also have weakness still in the bonds on the short end of the curve. On the 10-year, we have down a few ticks, and we actually have the 30-year in the green, which is a bounce. And we also have the Dow Jones now down 44. So we have some action to the downside this morning, a little bit of weakness, but not unexpected, giving up some of those recent gains. But the bottom line is the market still remains strong with the policy statements that continue to come out and the fact that there are going to be some large fiscal stimulus projects that are going to be coming down the line that could be very positive to many segments of the market. The market right now has some firm footing, but we're going to keep an eye on that. One of the things that is adding a little bit of uncertainty into the market is going to be the strength in the dollar. The dollar index this morning still comes in basically up about 6 cents at 129. And with this rising dollar and the fact that interest rates continue, the yields are just flying to the upside. We have both the 2-year, the 10-year, and the 30-year all up on the day. The 2-year and the 10-year, the 2-year is up about 2 to 3 basis points, and the 10-year is up about 4 to 5 basis points this morning. So we continue to see that the curve is steepening, distance between the 2-year and the 10-year, but we see that yields continue to move to the upside. One of the other things that was notable this morning is that we saw that inflation seems to be coming in a little bit lower than expectations. If you take a look at the PPI, the Producer Price Index, that came across this morning flat for October. That put the inflation index basically off of the radar screen right now. People were expecting maybe a little bit of a pop there in the PPI, not seeing it. So that's where there's a little bit of a justification with the strength in the dollar, the yields continuing to move to the upside, and the PPI coming in flat. There could be a little bit of a cautious trade today. So taking a look at what's hot right now, and that's gapping up. Right now we see certain two specific names that are gapping up in reaction to some strong earnings and guidance. First one is Jinkosolar. This is a Chinese solar name. It is a pretty decently traded stock here in the U.S. Ticker symbol's JKS. Stock's up about 8.9%. The options were pricing in the potential for the stock to move about $1 into earnings. It went 2 times that. So we actually are experiencing something in JKS where you're actually seeing this solar name in China popping to the upside, went about a standard deviation and a half outside of its expected move that was being priced in the options. That can happen, folks. The December options right now in JKS are pricing in the potential for the stock to move either up or down about 225, so an interesting move there. We also had Target came out with great earnings, great guidance. Stock's up about 8.5%, right in line with its estimated move that was being calculated by the options. The options were pricing in the potential for the stock into this event earnings to be either up or down potentially within a range of around $3.20. Stock's up 8.5% this morning. We continue to see that there is the potential for this stock to move to the upside. The DCIX options are pricing in a range of around $4.80. And vol is still relatively expensive. We want to see if that implied volatility, in other words, that forecast of expected violent moves, it's high right now. Let's see that if it pulls down post this event. I don't think it will, only because we're getting into that volatile season of Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. What we did see gapping down in reaction to disappointing earnings and guidance, well, the number one stock that we've seen is Lowe's. Lowe's came in, they disappointed on earnings and guidance. The stock is trading at 66.65, down about 4%. They went outside of their expected move, or right at their expected move, which is around $3 plus or minus. It actually is down about 3 and some change this morning. So that's what the options were pricing in for the potential of the stock to move going into this earnings event. We see the stock, which closed at 69 and some change, is trading at 66.65, down a little bit lower than $3 on the open. Hey, the options were giving you that forecast, and it's going to stay right in that range. We're going to watch Lowe's very closely, especially after Home Depot. Let's see if Home Depot, which pulled back yesterday, even though it had impressive earnings, let's watch this space. This could be a little bit of a flag here for the home improvement space. Also taking a look at some select financial names, you see Deutsche Bank, ING, and HSBC. We talked about HSBC and the overnight action. That was down in the overnight markets in Asia. But Deutsche Bank is down 2.4%. On the open, ING is down 2.3%. We did see those weakness in Germany. We talked about those in the overnight action financials in Germany. In the pre-market and overnight sessions were opening weaker. HSBC down 2% here in the States. It opened up weaker and is one of the largest components in a lot of the Japanese and Chinese ETFs. Taking a look at select metals and miners, Harmony, HMY is the ticker symbol, opened up down 4%. Miners have been under some pressure. They had some relief rally, but now they're starting to see some pressure. Let's see if this is going to be just an indication that we should expect some more volatility in this space, especially as we see precious metals as well as industrial metals on the move with all the different infrastructure and policy statements that are coming about, not only here in the United States, but globally. There's also some select oil and gas names that are showing some early weakness, Petrobras being the most notable. PBR down 3.6%. Let's see if this Brazilian name actually starts to get some pressure. We're going to watch this very closely, especially if we're not seeing the inflation data coming out. Also, you want to keep an eye on the OPEC meetings that are going to be coming out, as well as the Department of Energy is going to release at 10:30 Eastern Time their latest supply numbers out of Cushing. We're going to see if there was either a draw or a build going into this. We also saw Marathon Oil and BP down 1.5 and 1.4% on the open respectively. We're also seeing, and this is one I want to put a big asterisk on, select shipping names that continue to show strength. I want to put a cautious note here. Folks, these aren't investments. These are trades right now. Names like Globus, Maritime, Dyna Containerships, and Dry Ships, these stocks are up 64, 18, and 13% respectively. These stocks are flying. You have to be very careful. These are trades. If you're not in them, you can watch them. What I'm telling you right now, these stocks have been moving off of some lows and have been just astronomical. Be very careful with these stocks, but they are on the move this morning to the upside, and you want to treat these very, very tight. All right. Some other news that's out there that's hitting the headlines and that we should discuss is in the M&A sector, there's the LinkedIn Microsoft deal that came under scrutiny from the EU Commission. They've submitted Microsoft and LinkedIn have submitted concessions to the EU on their pending deal. We're going to see the provisional deadline on this is right now December 6th. LinkedIn is up on this news about 1.2% on the opening. Let's see how this reacts, what the reaction is of the EU Commission on these concessions to see if the deal is actually going to get through. All right, that's it for the open. What's hot now? We are going to be back at 1:30 Eastern Time with Strategy Now. We're going to talk about what strategies are being deployed, and then we'll be back on at 3:30 as well Eastern Time for Tech Talk, and then 4:30 for the closing bell. So we'll see you then.